All eyes will be on tonight's match. We are in for a show.
Nike has just unveiled its 40-second ad featuring Caitlin Clark, and it's absolutely exploding online. We're talking millions of views, non-stop headlines, and social feeds flooded with clips. The hype? Off the charts. Clark's rise in both the WNBA and the sneaker world is nothing short of a marketing dream. But while she's soaking up the spotlight, there's a growing storm brewing on the sidelines. On the other end of this media frenzy is Aya Wilson, a seasoned MVP, champion, and dominant force in the league, watching the rookie sensation take center stage, again. And she's not exactly clapping from the stands. There's a sense of being sidelined, a quiet frustration from one of the league's most consistent stars. The question now isn't just about Caitlin Clark's spotlight, it's about who's being left in the shadows. So, has Nike made its choice clear about who they're backing as the face of the W? And what message does that send to Aya, and fans who've supported her rise for years? With Clark's first ever solo Nike commercial now live, bold, polished, and everywhere, the conversation around WNBA stardom just got a lot more complicated.
Here with you guys today, Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE.
This isn't just another flashy brand partnership from Nike, this is a statement. A bold, unmistakable signal that perhaps, after all the debate, the brand has finally picked a side. And the message? It's starting to look like they think they've been backing the wrong face of the WNBA until now. For fans of Aya Wilson, that realization cuts deep. After years of dominance, leadership, and undeniable talent, Wilson is watching as the spotlight shifts, rapidly, toward the league's newest sensation. And it's not that she's been forgotten, but it sure feels like she's no longer the main event. To be fair, Nike did launch Wilson's signature shoe, the Nike 01, earlier this year. It dropped on May 6, 2025, with the vibrant pink Aurora colorway leading the release. It was a major milestone, years in the making. But the rollout? Quiet. Subtle. A far cry from the media storm surrounding Clark's campaign. And now, with the contrast growing sharper by the day, many are asking, was Aya's moment ever given a real chance to shine?
What's up, everybody? This is Asia Wilson from the Las Vegas Aces. Clearly, I had too much fun at my jersey retirement party, but I'm here to dive into the A1. Man, it feels pretty surreal to know that I am a Nike signature athlete and I have my first shoe, the A1.
Aya Wilson's Nike 01 first dropped, it was a certified smash. The pink Aurora colorway vanished from shelves in less than 5 minutes, and that wasn't just hype. On the resale market, prices spiked instantly, with pairs going for $230 to $300, more than double the original $110 retail tag. That kind of demand? It spoke volumes. Not just about her star power, but about the appetite for women's basketball and its rightful place in the sneaker world. For Aya, that release wasn't just a business win, it was a dream fulfilled. Years of hard work, championship grit, and leadership finally crystallized into something tangible, her own signature sneaker. It wasn't just a moment for her, it was a milestone for the entire league. But here's where the story really takes shape. Nike didn't just attach her name to a shoe and call it a day. They invested, seriously. Over 2 years of hands-on collaboration with Aya went into crafting what would become the Nike A1. This wasn't a marketing play slapped together overnight. It was a passion project. Aya was given full creative freedom from day one. She selected the materials, refined the silhouette, and made sure the design reflected who she is, on and off the court. Her custom logos were embedded into the shoe. Personal messages were hidden in the detailing. And that bold pink Aurora colorway? It carried real meaning, it was chosen with purpose, not just for style. Every element of that sneaker was deliberate. Every line and stitch told part of her story. The Nike A1 wasn't just made for performance, it was made to represent.
A little bit more about the shoe, like the details, what some of the Easter eggs are.
Ooh, yes, we have plenty of Easter eggs on here. Obviously, I feel like the biggest thing is the ring because it just looks amazing. You can see it in all aspects wherever you are. It's
blinding,
wow. Right. Show your eyes.
For a brief but powerful stretch, Aya Wilson stood at the center of the WNBA merch universe. Her name, her shoe, her moment, it was everywhere. She dominated interviews, headlined sports features, and fans showed up in droves wearing her signature sneakers. Courtside, online, in stores, the Nike A1 had become more than just footwear, it was a symbol of her reign. But momentum is fragile, and in the world of sports marketing, attention can shift in an instant. As quickly as the buzz built, it started to cool. The media coverage slowed. The social media fire dimmed. Sales tapered off. And just as the spotlight began to dim on iOS campaign, Nike pivoted dramatically. They dropped a brand new, high-energy commercial, not for Wilson, but for Caitlin Clark. And with that, the narrative flipped almost overnight. Clark's rollout didn't just make waves. It unleashed a tidal surge of media attention. The campaign had all the right ingredients: a viral hook, influencer amplification, and a massive response across platforms. Instantly, all eyes were on Clark, and suddenly, everything Aya had built began to feel like it was being eclipsed, fast. And here's the wild twist: there wasn't even a Caitlin Clark signature shoe attached. Instead, Nike rolled out a limited edition colorway of the Kobe 5 Protro PE, Midnight Navy, Bright Crimson, and University Gold, featuring Clark as the face of the drop. Then came the commercial, Nike's 40-second ad featuring Clark, released on Monday, June 29th, through Nike Basketball's X account. Within minutes, it blew up across YouTube and Instagram. The ad opens in near silence, Clark, calm and composed, tightening her laces with laser focus. Then, a sharp close-up. Her eyes narrow, flash yellow, and slit like a predator's, a split-second visual that says everything. It was subtle, but bold, a direct nod to Kobe Bryant's legendary Black Mamba persona. A moment that said, Clark isn't just arriving. She's here to take over.
All eyes will be on tonight's match. We are in for a show.
Now credit shot. Lays in on a delectable dime for Caitlin Clark.
And yes, the world was clearly paying attention. Nike's special edition Kobe 5s, worn by Caitlin Clark in that viral ad, sold out in under a minute. Not an hour. Not 5 minutes. 60 seconds. That level of demand? It wasn't just impressive, it was historic. Clark didn't just make headlines, she was the headline. She didn't shift the conversation, she became the conversation. And the secondary market reflected that, fast. Within hours, resale prices shot up from the $190 retail tag to between $300 and $600, a massive spike, driven purely by fan frenzy and collector demand. Meanwhile, a very different story was unfolding for Aya Wilson's signature shoe. Once hailed as a milestone for the league and a moment for Wilson's career, the Nike A1 has since struggled to maintain momentum. Sales slowed, shelves filled, and now, in some stores, the shoe has quietly drifted toward markdown territory. To their credit, Nike backed Wilson in a big way. They offered her a reported $20 million per year deal and built a powerful narrative around her, one of resilience, leadership, and underdog triumph. The marketing was bold. The storytelling was strong. But what Clark brought to the table was something no campaign could manufacture: cultural gravity. Before ever stepping onto a WNBA court, Clark signed a blockbuster $28 million endorsement deal with Nike, an eye-popping number that sparked debate throughout the league. Some questioned the size of the investment for a rookie who had yet to prove herself in the pros. But the moment Clark laced up her sneakers and hit the hardwood, the conversation changed, fast. Her impact was instant. Ticket sales surged. Viewership numbers spiked. Merch flew off shelves. She wasn't just meeting expectations, she was crushing them. Suddenly, that bold contract didn't look like a gamble. It looked like a masterstroke. While Nike worked hard to elevate Wilson, and gave her every resource to shine, Clark's influence had already taken root. Long before her WNBA debut, she was breaking records in college, drawing national attention, and creating real economic impact, to the tune of $82 million for the city of Iowa alone. She didn't need flash or overproduced messaging. She just needed a ball and a court. Even Jordan Rodgers, a former Nike basketball marketing executive, came forward to call the brand out, accusing them of nearly missing the moment. He argued that while Nike focused on building a star around Wilson, the true breakout phenom was already standing in plain sight. At the time, Nike's stock had dropped to a 5-year low, and critics were quick to point to what they saw as a misstep, putting energy into a manufactured campaign when the real momentum was coming from someone with organic star power. Now, with Clark dominating headlines, highlights, and the sneaker game, Nike's direction looks clearer than ever.
Making her second career start, second in a row, and Clark stays red hot.
When it comes to marketing, Aya Wilson's brand has needed the full package: photo shoots, high-gloss campaigns, influencer endorsements, and public relations tours just to generate traction. And she's earned every bit of it. But in contrast, Caitlin Clark can post a single snapshot, no tagline, no rollout, and it triggers a digital stampede. The demand follows her, not the other way around. And here's what stings the most for Wilson's camp: Nike seems to have realized it. The brand has shifted its focus, and now, they're all in on Clark, watching her moves like it's their top priority. After years of backing other stars, Nike appears to be repositioning fast, making it clear who they now see as their lead horse in the WNBA race. On paper, Aya Wilson's resume is undeniable: multi-time MVP, champion, and one of the league's most dominant forces. But when it comes to cultural impact and sheer public magnetism, Clark is in a league of her own. Her presence alone is enough to ignite attention. What's even more compelling is how Clark handles it all. Despite the chaos of the spotlight, she doesn't chase it, and that's part of her appeal. She's focused on the game, not the fame. A perfect example? After recording her first career triple-double against the Atlanta Dream, Clark stood at the podium for post-game media availability, calm and composed. Her teammate Aaliyah Boston was right there beside her, teasing her playfully, but Clark, as always, kept it humble. No big declarations, no victory lap. Just a quiet confidence and a genuine love for the game. And maybe that's the secret sauce. While others work hard to build a spotlight, Clark simply shows up, and the spotlight follows.
Like, obviously 13 assists, like that means my teammates made 13 shots off my passes, so that goes to them. But I mean, I don't know.
She's so humble, isn't she?
Well, I don't know what to say.
Let me tell you.
I mean, it's great.
That's
I don't know.
Pretty cool, Caitlin. Great job, sister.
And that's exactly what makes this entire situation so fascinating, and, for some, frustrating. Caitlin Clark isn't out here demanding headlines or staging massive brand plays. She's not pushing for the league to revolve around her. She simply shows up, does her job at an elite level, and walks away, leaving records shattered and audiences stunned. Meanwhile, Nike can't stock shelves fast enough. Social media can't stop buzzing. And fans? They're filling arenas in numbers the league hasn't seen in years. So when Aya Wilson, who received the full Nike treatment with glitzy campaigns, high-profile endorsements, and a massive rollout, watches this all unfold from a distance, it's understandable that there'd be some tension. Not just because Clark's sneakers are flying off the shelves, but because none of this was forced. Clark isn't orchestrating a media takeover, the attention is finding her naturally. That's the part that stings. The numbers are one thing. The hype is another. But it's the effortlessness of Clark's rise that's hard to ignore. While others have had to grind through marketing layers to get seen, Clark's influence is arriving like a wave, undeniable and unprompted. There's no doubt the growing gap in attention has sparked conversations, both inside the league and out. Publicly, there have been moments where tension between Wilson and Clark has surfaced. At the 2024 NCAA Women's Final Four, Wilson made comments during a panel discussion that touched on deeper societal issues, including how race can shape public perception and opportunity in sports. Her remarks, referencing how Clark's position as a white athlete may have influenced the scale of her visibility, drew strong reactions, both in support and criticism. It opened up a larger, ongoing conversation around equity, recognition, and how stardom is built in women's sports. These aren't easy topics, but they're real, and they're shaping the future of the WNBA as it navigates unprecedented attention and growth. And as the league expands its reach, the tension between earned spotlight and perceived favoritism remains front and center.
You say it's not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball. Like, she understands her privilege and like, pushes her over the top in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you.
Now just imagine what it must feel like for Aya Wilson, a proven champion, former league MVP, and face of multiple campaigns, watching from the sidelines as the player she once seemed to downplay has suddenly become the centerpiece of the WNBA and Nike's entire women's basketball push. With serious buzz already building around a potential full signature shoe line for Caitlin Clark, it's clear, this isn't just a passing moment. This is a takeover. And to call it a rivalry would be too simple. What's happening here is a reshaping of the entire landscape, marketing, visibility, and fan engagement included. For Wilson, who's worked relentlessly to earn her spot, the emotional weight of watching this shift, especially so quickly, has to be real. If she was frustrated before, this latest twist could feel like a tipping point. And it's not just a branding battle. What's playing out between Wilson and Clark at Nike mirrors a broader dynamic unfolding across the WNBA. The league has never seen this kind of singular gravitational pull, where one player moves numbers, headlines, and culture all at once. Case in point, ever since Clark suffered a groin injury in a recent game against the Seattle Storm, fan engagement has noticeably dipped. The data is hard to ignore. Viewership across the board has dropped, and the absence of Clark on the court is beginning to show just how much of the league's momentum is currently tied to her. To put things in perspective, 3 WNBA games played this week, featuring prominent names like Angel Reese, Kelsey Plum, and Hailey Van Lith, drew a combined viewership that still fell below the lowest-rated game Clark has played in this season. One marquee matchup between the Los Angeles Sparks and the Chicago Sky, which should have been a ratings driver, pulled just 240,000 viewers. It raises an uncomfortable but necessary question: has the league become too dependent on a single star? As Clark continues to redefine what's possible in terms of audience reach and commercial power, the challenge now falls on the WNBA to balance its spotlight and ensure that its many stars, including Wilson, aren't left in the shadows of one meteoric rise.
Standing ovation at Wintrust Arena as the Sky pick up win number 4 on the season, thanks to a career-high night from Camila Cardoso.
And it doesn't stop there. The ratings dip gets even more noticeable when you look at other marquee matchups. Take the recent game between the Los Angeles Sparks and the Minnesota Lynx, a contest featuring standout talent like Kelsey Plum once again, and Nafisa Collier, who many argue is the most complete player in the league right now. By all accounts, it was a strong on-court showing filled with elite-level play. But the viewership numbers told a different story. Despite the talent on display, that game drew just 220,000 viewers, a figure that falls well below what would be expected given the star power involved. And this is where things get difficult to ignore. Nafisa Collier, in particular, is widely respected for her skill, versatility, and leadership. She plays with poise, precision, and undeniable basketball IQ. In many ways, she represents everything the league wants to elevate: consistent excellence without the flash. But even with her exceptional game, and a solid roster of stars alongside her, the audience just isn't tuning in at the same level. The performance is there. The talent is undeniable. Yet the numbers aren't following, at least not without Caitlin Clark's name in the lineup. It's not a knock on the players. If anything, it's a reflection of a deeper truth. Right now, Caitlin Clark's presence isn't just boosting viewership, it's defining it.
That shot up and in, and look at this, 24-17, Connecticut. Rivers on top. The rookie looks like she belongs in this league.
And then there's the matchup between the Connecticut Sun and Aya Wilson's Las Vegas Aces, which barely drew 100,000 viewers. That number alone raises eyebrows, especially considering the talent on both sides. Add up the viewership from these 3 games, and you get a combined total of just 560,000 viewers. Now, here's the kicker: Caitlin Clark's lowest audience this season has been 580,000, higher than all 3 games combined. It's a staggering statistic, and one that speaks volumes about where the energy and attention in the league currently lie. At this point, it's no surprise that Nike finally acknowledged Clark's undeniable pull, stepping up to give her the VIP treatment she's earned through sheer performance and star power. For the league and its fans, it's a sign that the future is being shaped by the athlete who can move the needle like no other, on and off the court.